anything that goes with apples to apples. Hi, my name is Kyle and welcome to Worldwide Campus News and Entertainment. And today we're going to show you how to make the next recipe for the dessert is the perfectly apple Neufchâtel cheesecake. Alright, the first thing that you want to do that we're going to make an apple filling to layer it. What we have in the medium bowl that we put in 3/4 cup of granulated sugar, 1.5 teaspoons of ground cinnamon, and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. I'm going to give this to a stir. Then we're going to put it into this apple. We're using 4, 5, or 6 large, any variety of the apples. We're using the Cameo apples. You can use Fuji, Jonathan, Red Delicious, Gold Delicious, even the Granny Smith, etc., etc. We're going to break the cornstarch inside with the cinnamon and sugar. It might be clumped yet. And we just put the apples into a large bowl. To get there for the discolor, we decided to put it in about here, a 1/4 cup of lemon juice. We're going to toss it with clean hands. Make sure to wash your hands thoroughly. And we're going to add the sugar, the cinnamon, and the cornstarch. That goes right in the apple. Has been colored with lemon juice. Going to keep tossing it. Clean hands might be a lot easier. Now once you toss over the apples to coat it with the sugar, the cinnamon, and the cornstarch, we're going to leave this apple for a moment. The sugar and the cinnamon and the cornstarch are going to absorb with the apples. And by the way, we just already peeled and delicately sliced with those apples, very large one. We're going to show you how it looks. We use it with the apple slicer and a knife. We give it slits for 3, just slice really thinly. So the sugar just absorb inside with the apples. Right? That's good enough. We're going to set it for a moment. Next, we're going to make a graham crust with honey and pecans. We already ground up with 18 graham crackers. We're using about only Honey Maid brand. And we decided to toast it with whole pecan halves. Then we put it in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. Then we toast it slowly for 10 minutes at a time, making sure to toss it evenly. And we ground out into the food processor, very nice and ground. So we measure only 1.5 cups of pecans and ground it into the food processor, or you can grind it wherever you say so. We're going to put it into the crackers. We like the flavor of the pecans. This is going to taste great. Then we're going to use a spoon to toss it into the crackers. The pecans going to smell very nice and fragrant. So this is about only 1.5 cups of ground pecans. Now that's going to do for the honey pecan graham crust. Now you can give that a check using clean hands. You can rub it together and you can smell the pecans inside the crackers. It looks perfect. You can go ahead and make a little Wellington center. Then we're going to put it in 8 tablespoons of melted butter and 1/2 cup of honey. You can use whatever kind of honey you want, clover honey, pure honey, raw honey, whatever kind. So the honey is going to be sweet enough for the pecans. Then we're going to give that a stir with the rubber spatula until you get a nice coarse wet sand. Alright, we finished the crust. You gotta take only 10-inch springform pan. Then you have to spray it with non-stick cooking spray with butter. Line it with parchment paper on the bottom and the sides. Then we're going to put this mixture right into prepared springform pan. That's for the honey pecan graham crust. Now you're just going to spread it right over and pack it down firmly. We just only pack it down on the bottom. You can also pack it on the sides also. Alright, we just pack it down on the bottom or on the sides of the edges of the springform pan. We're going to toast it in the oven for 20 minutes. Has been preheated for 350 degrees Fahrenheit. After 20 minutes, you're going to take it out, let it cool. We're going to make a batter. Now we're going to make a batter in a large bowl. We already put in 4 8-ounce packages of Neufchâtel cheese. Neufchâtel cheese has 1/3 less fat than regular cream cheese. Want to make sure to soften up at room temperature. We already plop it in 3/4 cup of firmly packed light brown sugar. We're going to cream this together with the cheeses and the sugar until light and fluffy. Alright, always remember to scrape down the sides of the bowl and the bottom using a rubber spatula. There we go. You're going to keep scraping all the way. And keep going. Alright. We just finished creaming the cheeses and the sugar. We're going to add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. Then you want to keep going. Now let's just scrape down the sides with a rubber spatula. Alright, we're gonna add 4 large eggs, have that at room temperature. We're gonna beat in one at a time. And then add the other eggs each addition. Going to scrape it down with a rubber spatula, get the excess batter off the sides. Alright, we're just beating the eggs one at a time, scraping it down with a rubber spatula. We're going to add some spices. We're using 1 teaspoon of ground cinnamon, half a teaspoon of ground cloves, 3/4 teaspoon of ground allspice, just a 1/4 teaspoon of ground nutmeg, and a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt. I'm going to keep boiling it over. Alright, we're going to add 1 teaspoon of pure vanilla extract and 1 cup of sour cream. We're going to wear more. Alright, we're almost there. We're going to keep scraping all the way. Alright, that was done. Alright, we're just back with the apple filling. We like to cook it in the skillet to soften the apples. You're going to take the absorbed juices. Ooh, you can see how steamy it is. Gonna throw these apples right into the skillet. We just do that little by little so. We turn it on only medium or high heat. We're gonna stir fry it until it's nice and softened. Alright, we just gently stir fry the apples just a little bit. You can see the juices just thicken up and the apples that's now softened. You can go ahead and turn off from the heat. We're gonna let the apples to cool before we're going ready to assemble. Alright, we're ready to assemble. We're gonna take a half a batter. We like to use the ice cream scooper. Just scoop it right on top of the cool crust. We like to scoop a half of the batter. Just what you usually decide. So half a batter first. Actually, we pour the third batter for first on top of the cool crust, spreading over using with a rubber spatula. We're gonna lay the apples. You're gonna take a half of the apple filling right on top of the first third of layer of the cheesecake batter. So we're guessing 5 large apples. Has been already peeled, cored, and thinly sliced on the wedges. You can see the apples just tenderizing just a little bit, and the juices just thick enough. Let's scoop another third of the batter on top of the apples. Can you see the filling? That's what we call for the apple filling layers. Spread it over. Just make sure to cover all the apples. Let's finish the rest of the apple filling. You're going to carefully spread over the apples on top of the second layer of the batter. And you can smell these apples inside with the spices of the cinnamon, allspices, nutmeg, and the cloves. Alright, we're almost there. We're going to cover the rest of the batter. If I like to take out the batter with the ice cream scooper and the rubber spatula, don't want to waste it. Let's put this rest of the batter right on top of the apples. Gonna cover it right over onto the apple. Don't worry if it's scrubble, but that's alright, we're gonna keep baking over. Now you can give it a little jiggle to break any of the air bubbles. While I was waiting for it, we cover with aluminum foil, just 2 layers of that on the bottom and the sides, outside. And we follow by with the oven bag. You can also use a slow cooker liner. We put it underneath the oven bag with the foil very tightly and tie it with a knot with a plastic wrap. Before putting it in the water bath, we decided to use the roasting rack and the roasting pan. You're going to pour the boiling water halfway into the roasting pan, not all the way. We're going to return it in the oven back for 1 hour and 30 minutes. Do not overbake. Watch it carefully and keep an eye on it in the oven. Alright, it just been after 1 hour and 30 minutes in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We turn off the oven, crack the door open, We decided to use a wooden spoon to hold the door really easily to a little opening, don't go all the way, while it's still hot inside as they let it rest in the cheesecake in the oven, just only about for 2 hours. After 2 hours, we're going to take it out of the oven and see how it looks. Alright, we just took it out of the roasting pan. Now, if you notice there's something all cracks on here on top of that, that's what happened. It didn't fill all the way for the water bath. We just already took off the oven bag and the plastic wrap after you're just releasing it. As we mentioned about this crack, if you want to put in the sour cream on top of the cheesecake after it's just been cracked, you don't need the water bath. So after you just took it out, you gotta cover it loosely with some plastic wrap and chill it into your refrigerator for overnight. If there's crack, don't cry, don't worry, we're gonna cover up on these cracks all over. If you want to cover with fruit toppings, like we said for the sour cream toppings, it is up to you. We're gonna use a Cool Whip that we can cover on top of the cheesecake. Alright, it is the next day. We just took it out from the refrigerator after it's just been chilled. Uncover with plastic wrap. If there's watery, you can go ahead just gently pat it down with the napkin and get the excess water on. But we do have to fix those cracks to cover all the way. We unlock the edges, peel off the parchment, transfer it onto the cake stands, wherever you use it for the platter. And you can see that, all the cracks down here. That's why I need to fix that, or you need to cover it with some sour cream toppings. Now, what we decide to use the Cool Whip has been thawed. Then you want to spread it right on top of that, has been chilled afterwards. Don't forget to cover the cracks. Here we go, guys. There'll be enough Cool Whip right on top of the cracked cheesecake to cover with. Once you cover that, we're going to give you a rotation. And here's the finish. Apple Neufchâtel cheesecake. You gotta love this. It smells all of these apples. It just tastes like an apple pie. You get a slice set to serve it. Scoop it with some vanilla ice cream, and enjoy. Did you enjoy this video? Let us know in the comments what you think about this. Check out these other recipes from In the Kitchen with Worldwide Campus on this playlist. Then be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified for our latest videos.